In this tutorial, we will see how to handle allocated inventory and safety stock in MRP calculations. Allocated inventory is inventory that is physically in the warehouse, but is not available for production to use for the job being scheduled. This is typically because it has been promised, in other words allocated, to another job or for another purpose. Thus, if there are 1,000 items in inventory, but 500 have been allocated, then we can only use 1,000 minus 500 equals 500 when developing the MRP plan. Safety stock is inventory that is physically present in the warehouse but is being held for some kind of emergency. Typically, the emergency would be related to an unreliable supplier or higher than expected demand. Like allocated inventory, safety stock is not available for production to use for the job being scheduled. In regards to the MRP planning process, allocated inventory and safety stock are handled exactly the same way. There are two approaches, and we will look at both, but the first approach is far and away the more common. For this first example, we have demand of 1,500 per period, and we will be planning for the first 8 periods. There's a 1-period lead time, and we use a lot size of 5,000. Beginning inventory is 3,200. Of that, 500 is allocated inventory and 500 is safety stock. Since the two are handled the same way, we can just think of this as 1,000 being unavailable. That is, the results will be exactly the same for 100 in allocated inventory and 900 in safety stock. With 3,200 in inventory and 1,000 in combined allocated inventory and safety stock, 2,200 units are available to production. We enter 2,200 as the beginning inventory, and we have completely accounted for allocated inventory and safety stock, and nothing else is required. As you can see, the rest of the MRP grid is completed as usual. Now, here's an example for you to try. In this example, demand is 1,500 in period 1, 1,600 in period 2, 1,800 in period 3, 1,900 in period 4, 1,200 in period 5, 1,300 in period 6, 1,800 in period 7, 2,000 in period 8. Lead time is 1 period. Orders are placed using a period order quantity of 3. Beginning inventory is 3,200 with 500 in allocated inventory and 500 in safety stock.
Since you've seen an example already, let me suggest that you pause the video and try to work this problem on your own. Once you're done, you can use the video to check your work and spot any mistakes you might have made.
The screen shows the resulting MRP planning grid. Once again, reducing the beginning inventory from 3,200 to 2,200 fully accounts for the allocated inventory and safety stock, and nothing else is required. As I mentioned at the beginning of this tutorial, there is a second way to work these problems. It is used infrequently, but we will cover it now. If your textbook uses the approach we just covered, you can stop this tutorial now, as the only thing remaining to be covered is this second way. The second approach is not to make any adjustments to beginning inventory. Rather, the combination of the allocated inventory and safety stock becomes a floor, and ending inventory is not allowed to fall through that minimum. To see this in operation, we will rework example number 1 using the new approach. Beginning inventory stays 3,200 in this approach. Ending inventory is not allowed to drop below 500 plus 500 equals 1,000. Period 1 has adequate inventory, so net requirements are 0. There's adequate inventory in period 2 to meet gross requirements, but ending inventory would drop to 1,700 minus 1,500 equals 200. But that is below the floor of 1,000, so an order of 5,000 is required. In periods 3 and 4, there's adequate inventory to meet gross requirements without dropping below the 1,000 floor. In period 5, ending inventory would be 2,200 minus 1,500 equals 700, but that is below the floor of 1,000, so an order of 5,000 is required. Periods 6 through 8 have adequate inventory, so no further orders are required. The screen shows the solution to example 1 using both methods. The first approach is shown on top and the second along the bottom. Notice two things. First, the planned order receipts and planned order releases are identical. That will always be the case. Second, notice that the blue areas of the two grids are almost identical. The only difference is the bottom grid has every cell 1,000 higher the amount of allocated inventory plus safety stock. That too will always be the case. Additionally, recall from the discussion of the MRP grid that the blue area is just working calculations. Thus, in every way that matters, the results are identical. In this example for you to try, we will rework example number 2 using the new approach.
Since you've seen an example already, let me suggest that you pause the video and try to work this problem on your own. Once you're done, you can use the video to check your work and spot any mistakes you might have made.
As before, we do not adjust the beginning inventory. Period 1 has adequate inventory. In period 2, there's adequate inventory, but 1,700 minus 1,600 equals 100, which drops below the floor of 1,000. Since this is a period order quantity of 3, we order the net requirements of 900 for period 2 plus the gross requirements of 1,800 and 1,900 for periods 4 and 5 for a total planned order receipt of 4,600. Periods 3 and 4 have adequate inventory. In period 5, the net requirements are 1,200. To meet that, we order 1,200 plus 1,300 plus 1,800 equals 4,300. Periods 6 and 7 have adequate inventory. In period 8, net requirements are 2,000. Since periods 9 and 10 are not being planned, we simply order the 2,000 required to meet net requirements. If this video helped you working operations management problems, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel.